Here, 10-game main slate. James, my guy, how are we feeling?
Interesting slate. Not very good pitching. We have Coors Field back on the slate. You know, Surprised that Wednesday's such a big slate after Tuesday's monster slate, but we
We're
move
used to
on.
having split slates on Wednesday,
Yeah,
and
Usually has a split slate, right? That's what I thought.
yeah.
It's an interesting one. Not my favorite, not my least favorite. But as always, ready to attack it and win everyone some money.
Yeah, we're gonna be changing up the format a little bit for today's show, and this is something that we want from you guys, right? We want to hear some feedback. We want to let you guys tell us what you want, how you want to receive this content, how you want to receive this information here. We're trying a couple of new things here today. So please, like and subscribe to the show as it is, but get in that comment section. Let us know what you guys want to see from James and I when it comes to breaking down the slate each day. If you're in our Discord, let us know in the Discord. Hey, I like that you did this. I'd rather you guys do that. Let us know. We're constantly trying to improve to make this experience better for everybody. We're still going to do our best to keep this within the half an hour. I know not everybody has forever to sit around and listen to a show, so kind of still try to keep it within a half an hour structure, but we're going to kind of change up a little bit how we go about breaking down the slate for everybody here. So again, make sure you check that out in the comment section. Let us know in the Discord. Let us know. James, how you feeling about what we got going on today?
Feeling pretty good. It'll be, again, I'll just reiterate what John said. Please just let us know your thoughts. Like, come into the Discord, comment there, like, comment on the video on YouTube, send something in to support. Like, any way you want to get your point across, whether you want it to be private or not, just let us know. And we will listen to what you have to say. Um, we can start by just recapping, I guess, our 3 points from the night before. You and I both picked out some pretty good pitching, notably James Paxton and Freddie Peralta, two of the highest scoring pitchers of the slate.
Mm-hmm.
Our Dodger stack that both you and I pegged as number one on the slate, although they lost
Right.
in the ninth inning, they crushed due to JD Martinez and Freddie Freeman just coming through big time.
Freeman grand slam, JD Martinez homered for us. So yeah, definitely big starts there.
Then John
Sure.
on here in the notes has Ellie De La Awesome, because that is what the experience was. His double, John, was 112 miles
Yeah.
per hour off of that. That first at bat was super impressive too, where he like laid off two really tough curves, and he swung at the first one that was the exact same pitch. So, very impressive from Ellie De La
Yeah,
Awesome
one
in
for
his.
three tonight with two walks, a run scored, and a double here. He is $2,000 min price, and he is 25% rostered in the contest that I was in. So kudos to you out there for a core review for playing the obvious value play on the board. The other one that we had looked at in that Sam Reeves was Marcano. He was 1 for 5 with a run scored and a double. So kind of a similar night. Ellie obviously had the two walks there to give him the edge there, but whether you're going 2K or $2,100, hard to really argue too much with the outright values at shortstop that we were looking to play here. So let's turn our attention now, though, to the Wednesday slate. Like I said, we have 10 games. We're not changing when it comes to looking at Vegas totals, James. So why not let everybody know what we should be keying in on here tonight?
Yeah, Zach Davies and the Arizona Diamondbacks minus 125 against the Washington Corbins in Washington. The Yankees are slight favorites over the White Sox, despite losing Aaron Judge to the IL officially. Chris Bassett and the Toronto, almost said Raptors, Blue Jays minus 155 against the Houston Astros. Minus 175 is Noah Syndergaard and the Dodgers. I find that very interesting. And like you always say, that is more towards the Dodgers offense that it is Noah Syndergaard, because I think you and I are both going to have some interest in some targets
Yeah.
against Noah Syndergaard. Charlie Morton and the Atlanta Braves, slight favorites against Max Scherzer and the Mets. Corbin Burns minus 135 against the Baltimore Orioles. And the biggest favorite on the board is Logan Webb and the San Francisco Giants, minus 195 on DraftKings Sportsbook. And again, that game is in Coors Field, so that is worth mentioning. Still the biggest favorites on the board there. In terms of over-unders, 9.5 implied runs in Arizona, Washington. That's a
Yeah.
fun game environment. 11 implied runs in Dodgers, Reds. 11 implied
That's a high
runs in that
total.
game.
Yep.
That is a high total. We have 11 implied runs in San Francisco, Colorado, and that's because there's one very good pitcher and one very bad pitcher in that game. And then 9 implied runs in St. Louis, Texas, and Chicago, LA.
When it comes to weather on this slate, Colorado again is expected to experience some rain. They're going to have isolated thunderstorms pretty much most of the afternoon and into the early evening here. So you could see maybe a delayed start to this game, but based off kind of the weather pattern, the weather.com hourly forecast, 8, 9 o'clock, the rain's supposed to be gone here. So even if there's an initial delay out there, that game should still play. So don't think it's going to be too much of a problem for Logan Webb, as you mentioned, the biggest favorite on the board. DraftKings also changed up some of their imagery here. Is this wind? Is this what we're looking at? Is this partly cloudy? I wonder what do we think of this Chicago White Sox?
Well, you know what that is? I think it's the air quality because the
Yeah,
Canada
wildfire. Yeah,
fires. Did you see the
I
pictures of
have.
New
Yeah,
York
yeah.
tonight? I'm assuming that's what that is because I've never seen. Yeah, fog. Hold your
Oh,
mouse
does it
over it,
say?
John.
Oh, fog. Okay, interesting.
So we get a little fog. I think that has to do with the air quality. That would be my guess because I don't I, I don't think that's like it looked foggy in New York, but it wasn't
Sure.
foggy. It was
When I
just
was at the
smoky.
Red Sox game last week, you could actually see the smoke as well
Insane.
in the lights. It was kind of weird. It got this like very orangey hue as we hit dusk. So very, very odd. All right, let's get into it. And I guess this will be, one of the more notable changes, I guess. We're going to talk about our favorite pitchers here tonight, but unlike breaking down every basically starting pitcher on the slate, we're just going to talk about the guys that we like, the guys that we're going to be looking to play, guys are going to be looking to fade here. We're not going to ignore everybody, but again, sort of to give a more condensed view of outlook on this slate. That this is an approach we're going to be taking now when it comes to pitching and hitting, and you guys will get a feel for how we're going to go about doing the show here. And again, please give us your feedback, comment in the comment section, get us in Discord. If you're watching, like and subscribe as well. It really helps us and boost up the show profile there as well. So, James, talking about pitching here, top plays for you on this slate.
Yeah, so my top play is the top priced arm on the slate in Corbin Burns. And I know Corbin Burns hasn't been, his Cy Young ish self or at least ace, one of the two aces that Milwaukee, has had over the last couple of years. But he has been good specifically in his last two starts. He looked really good against the Giants, didn't get a win, but he had 8 strikeouts, 7 innings, 1 run. And then he followed up with 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts against the Reds in Great American. And we long talk about how Great American is such a good hitters environment. I mean, outside of a start in Houston, Corbin Burns has been pretty good. And what we're getting from him lately has been the strikeouts, which we weren't at all earlier in the year. We had one of his first 7 starts get more than 5
Yeah,
strikeouts, and now he's done that in 4 of
right.
his last 5. So, you talked about it on Tuesday's stream. Baltimore's offense is just kind of depressed. I mean, they're relying on an Aaron Hicks
Right.
home
Right.
run. Aaron Hicks on Tuesday to like carry the torch, and he's hitting in the middle of their lineup. He was DFA'd from the Yankees for like 2 years of
Yeah.
just bad play.
And Peralta
So
still had
like
9 Ks
how
in this game, too. So,
right. And he still had Peralta still looked really good. I'm going right back to the well with Corbin Burns here. I think there's a lot of upside here. And I'm gonna take a shot on Max Scherzer. I know this is not a easy spot. I know Atlanta has a lot of thump at the top of their lineup. Max Scherzer's back. Like he looks fully healthy again. He's pitching every 5th day. We've now seen Scherzer over his last 4 starts allow 3 runs total in those 4 starts. He's pitched over 100 pitches in back-to-back starts on regular rest, which is something he wasn't doing with the back injury. It was 11 days and then it was 7 days and now it's the 5 days again. He's actually getting, I guess, 5 full days of rest because he's pitching on the 7th here. 9 and 8 strikeouts over the last 2 games. Atlanta is a team that does strike out against right-handed pitching. Like, it's yes, they have a lot of power and they're scary. They do have a 23% strikeout rate against righties this year. So I do like Max Scherzer. I think people might just stay away from him just naturally, given Atlanta's offense, and just gravitate towards a Corbin Burns or your favorite pitcher. So who I won't give up here, but I'll go Corbin Burns and Scherzer as my top 2 arms
Yeah,
on
Corbin
today's
for sure is a guy that I'd be willing to get to here. I am obviously a little worried about the Atlanta matchup, but I could a lot of
Sure.
merit behind it, and maybe maybe less rostership on Scherzer, because of that matchup. I'm going to do something that I didn't think we would do almost ever in years past, and that is actually recommend a starting pitcher in course. That's Logan Webb here. Dude, there's just something in the air in Colorado, right? And it's not the ball
Yep.
because Colorado is not putting the ball in the air at home this year. Their offense is just flat out terrible, up and down the lineup for the most part. Not a good offensive team. Runs are down, at home for Colorado. Now they still have okay numbers if you look at it, but they're just not intimidating. They're not the threat that they once were here. And Logan Webb has been very good on the season. So hopefully back to being a starter. And I had that one weird appearance as an opener or as a long reliever rather. But I like Logan Webb a lot here at $9,900. And again, I think because he's in cores that people won't play him.
Yep.
And that could give you an edge here because he is the biggest favorite on the board. As you mentioned, the Giants are in this game. Connor Siebold's going on the opposite side of him. So if tomorrow's rostership numbers come out when we're live at 5 o'clock Eastern doing the live stream, and Logan Webb is, 15% because everybody's playing Corbin Burns and Max Scherzer, then sign me all the way up because I think this is another spot where Logan Webb goes out there, throws 7 innings pretty much like he does every start here, gets into the 7th for the most part, in all of his starts here. The strikeout numbers have been on the rise outside of that lone game in Arizona. Keeps the run total down, and he could give you a 25, 30 fantasy points. So for me, Logan Webb is my top pitcher of that price tier. And then I just want to give a nod to Jon Gray. Now, he's going up against St. Louis. It's another lineup that certainly has some guys in it that are a bit scary. Goldschmidt and Arenado starting to heat up here. Goldie's never cooled down. So he's got to pitch his way around those guys here. But, I mean, Jon Gray's been unreal lately. I mean, just look at the box scores here. 7 innings, no earned. 7 innings, 5 innings, 1 earned run against Colorado. 8 shutout against Oakland. 7 innings, 1 earned there against Seattle. If you could cherry pick one thing or another, the schedule has been pretty favorable for him. Seattle, Baltimore, Colorado, Oakland, Seattle, Arizona, Cincinnati, Oakland. That's pretty easy goings there for the majority of the year here for him. But he faced Houston. Only pitched 2 innings in that game because he get hurt, I think, in that one. But still, this has been a pretty good season for Jon Gray. The Rangers' offense has been unreal, so the support's going to be there for him more likely than not. So I do like Jon Gray here. And again, I don't know if anybody's going to pay $8,900 for him. So
no, I agree. And it was a weird start to his year. And then over his last 5 starts, 3 earned runs total. And 4 of those games, he's gone for 7 innings, and he's won all 5 of them. So.
Yeah, he's been an absolute monster, this season. So for me, Jon Gray, if I'm going a value play on this slate, I'm going to go down to Boston's Cutter Crawford here. You did point out, something that's worth noting at least, and that's that Cutter Crawford just 3 days ago. June 3rd, threw 3 innings in relief against Tampa Bay. 3 innings, 1 earned, 3 strikeouts in that game, 40 pitches. He could be on a limit, possibly. But, there's also the chance that they extend, he's been extended at times this season. He was a starter earlier in the year when they had some guys on the IL. He pitched pretty well. 2 of his 3 starts this year were pretty good. 5 innings, an earned run against Detroit, 6 shutout, 1 hit allowed against the Angels. So, this is a guy that was one of a better prospect in the Boston system for a little bit there. And now he's a 27-year-old kind of swingman for them, but they'd profile him. If you kind of listen to the scouts as a starter, they're just right now, they don't for whatever reason, think there's a spot in the rotation for him. But with Chris Sale now on the IL, Cutter Crawford could be getting an opportunity here to pitch. So that's something to at least pay attention to. I think at $6,800, because Cleveland, we know, is an offense that we've targeting. Paxton, shut them down here today. So for value, because there's not a lot on this slate, I do like Cutter Crawford at $6,800 if we find out there's really not going to be too much of a limitation on him.
Yeah, that's what we need to know. If there is a limitation, maybe we pull back a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get more word. We'll have a better idea come 5 p.m. when the live stream comes on for Cutter Crawford. I was going to mention the two cheapest guys, one 4K and Randy Vasquez, who pitched good in his debut. One Ronel Blanco, who pitched decent in his first start. I then pivoted to Jaime Barria as my value tier pitcher, 7K. He also had a random one inning game against Miami in there, but then made a very solid account for himself against the White Sox. I mean, you remove that weird outing against Miami, 5 innings against Boston, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, and then the White Sox, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. The Cubs have been much better as a unit against left-handed pitching this year. Against righties, 708 team OPS, that's 18th in the league. Yan Gomes isn't facing a lefty. That's very important. And a 24.1% strikeout rate for the Cubs as well. I kind of like Jaime Barria. He got up to 90 pitches his last start. The 6 strikeouts in each of his last 2 elongated outings is incredibly encouraging. Facing a team that's 7th in the league in strikeouts. Sure. Give me Jaime Barria as my top value play.
I like it. If we're talking about fades for pitching today, I've been burned by this one a few times already, but I'm going to fade Chris Bassett here. Again, coming off a Mets start, 7 2/3 shutout, 8 strikeouts. Got hammered against Minnesota when I played him. Pitched well against Tampa Bay when I didn't. Shut out the Yankees, shut out Atlanta, shut out Pittsburgh. 3 straight shutout starts. He's been very good. Not going to sit here and argue that. I don't know if I want to go against Houston. I don't know, man. That lineup, when it clicks, it just clicks. Yeah. So, and you talked about it as well. Lefties have been doing damage against Chris Bassett, and they have lefties, right? They have Tucker, they have Jordan in that lineup that could hit. So I'm going to be out on Chris Bassett for this slate.
Yeah, they have as good lefties as it gets. 890 OPS, 380 WOBA for lefties against Chris Bassett this year. I'm out on Noah Syndergaard. Me and everyone else out on Noah Syndergaard, but maybe people see the Cincinnati Reds and think something different. No. He has been bad. He's even talked about missing the old Noah Syndergaard. That's obviously a red flag. He's just not that guy anymore.
Stolen bases in baseball. He's allowed 16 stolen bases against this year.
It's a team in Cincinnati that obviously got a lot deeper, adding Ellie De La Cruz in the middle of that lineup and getting Jake Fraley back from his what did he have, allergic reaction? I will get to the Reds. Well, let's just say this. We'll get to the Reds in a moment.
Yes, we will 100% get to the Reds in a moment. So that's our look at pitching here. Again, we'll have the playbook out for everybody. We'll go through it again when we go live at 5 p.m. Eastern here on the live stream. James, let's now switch our focus over to the hitters on the slate.
Sure.
Again, another little different wrinkle here. We're not going position by position here. We're just going to tell you who we like when it comes to our top plays, our value plays, and our fades. James, start off. Who are your top plays for today?
All right. So my top plays, number 1, he just homered on Tuesday evening. Shohei Ohtani gets a matchup against Jameson Taillon. And I tried to do this against the Padres, and it did not work all too well for me. But Jameson Taillon continues to struggle against lefties mightily. 313 average allowed, 1,000 OPS, 425 WOBA. Ohtani has been kind of in the midst of a power surge of late. Again, just homered again on Tuesday for his 16th home run of the year. So I'll go Ohtani as my top option. I like JD Martinez. John, his price dropped. I don't know if he dropped. He homered again. He is as good as he's ever been. Like, this is like Arizona 40 home run JD Martinez, beginning of Boston tenure JD Martinez. Like, this is he's an elite player again. And whether that's steroid induced or not, like he just is.
You said it, not
I'm
me.
not
You said
implying that he's on steroids. I'm just kidding.
JD, not me.
I'm just kidding. 324 WOBA for righties against Brandon Williamson. And Brandon Williamson, rookie who's pitched fairly well. But I'm going back to a guy that's just vastly underpriced. And JD Martinez has done most of his damage against righties, but who's gonna doubt this man right now in the midst of this hot streak? And then I'm gonna go Michael Conforto. Back the Giants lineup looked really stacked on Tuesday, John. They just got Conforto back, Yastrzemski back, Estrada back, Jock Peterson back. Two off the IL, two were just injured for a couple days, and it just looked awesome. And they are pounding the Rockies through 5 innings, 8 runs through 5 innings thus far. Conforto, 2 run single or a single and a walk thus far. He has been amazing against right-handed pitching all year. Connor Siebold's been trash against both splits. So I'm going to take Michael Conforto as my third and final favorite spend.
Yeah, I like that. For me, you mentioned JD Martinez. He was my top play as well. I also liked Yordan Alvarez, as we talked about, just sort of the lefty splits there going up against Chris Bassett. We saw Yordan homer the other night as well. So a big night potentially coming for him there. And then I like the Giants just outfield. You mentioned Porto, but they're all going to be in play here. And to our surprise, and maybe not, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but the Giants were rather underrepresented on the slate here for Tuesday. Now, if that ends up being the case again, I'm talking about like 10% and under. If these guys are going to be 10% and under again in cores against Siebold, I ain't going to be jumping all over that as much as I can. So, looking to spend up, you have guys like JD Martinez, you have Yordan Alvarez, and you have sort of the teams that are around them to stack with. And then you have these cheap Giants that you can kind of throw into your lineup as well. So give me the Giants, cheap outfielders, and then give me Yordan and JD up at the top.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Who's your fade for the day when it comes to your hitters? What group of hitters are you just not going with?
I don't, for all the reasons you talked about John Gray, I don't love the Cardinals here. I'm staying away. I think they're just vastly overpriced when you look at St. Louis as a whole. I mean, dude, how do you afford them? Goldschmidt 55, Gorman 48, Arenado 53. You can't build a reasonable stack. Like Jordan Walker is fine at 3,100, and I like that. Wilson Contreras is $4,700. Why in the world would I ever play that? I know that the power has been slowly coming back, but John Gray hasn't allowed any power. So I'm really out on just the Cardinals as a full.
For me, I'm not playing Rafael Devers until he gets going. It's just not worth spending up for Devers at this point. Especially when they're on the road, just doesn't seem like it makes much sense. Then I'm out on the Braves. You like Scherzer as your top pitcher. I'm not going to spend up the price it costs to play Atlanta against Max Scherzer in the form that he is in right now. So out on the Braves, out on Devers when it comes to the guys that I am fading. James, we introduced this segment here on the live stream on Tuesday. It's our Grandes, Gems, and Impembas imprints. We give you our home run call, our top stack, our contrarian stack, our star of the night, and our value play of the night. Why don't you kick us off here and give us your Grandes Gems?
So my gems are going to start off with my home run call, Christian Walker. Arizona gets a lefty, and it's a Patrick Corbin day, John. Happy Patrick Corbin day. He is back. He's back to people we can stack against. So I'm going to go Christian Walker. He's dominated lefties all year. My top stack of the night, San Francisco. I think you and I are going to probably be in lockstep there, especially with their full lineup at capacity. I am split down the middle for my contrarian stack between Arizona and Cincinnati. I love Cincinnati adding Ellie De La Cruz in that middle lineup. I've said it 50 times in the last 2 nights, and it's going to be something I continue to say all year long. Scored 9 runs in his debut. He just adds a lot to their lineup. The stolen base threat that Fraley, India, LER at the top of that lineup too against Noah Syndergaard. And Arizona crushes lefties. I mean, they have 6 guys in their lineup with like 400 wobas this year against left-handed pitching. My star of the night, Shohei Ohtani. I mentioned I love Ohtani as one of my top plays. The recent power has been awesome. And then the value play of the night, Ellie De La Awesome, as John coined him. And I think that's going to stick because he's going to continue to be awesome.
Tweeting that out, right? Let's try to start laying a claim if it hasn't already been claim laid.
Take it. I mean, we could just look.
I've been Awesome on Twitter for me. Let me know if it's done it yet. I'll just start.
I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that.
Put your mature filters on because
I don't know if I want to do
Twitter gets a little dangerous when you do those sort of things. But we'll see if anybody's grabbed that one yet. For me, listen, my home run call again. Going to stick with Jordan. I did it the other day. Came through big time, and we talked about the numbers for lefties against Bassett. I mean, with you, my favorite stack is going to be the Giants here as well. Just great pricing for them, and plus, hey, they're in Coors. If you're going to give me under 10% team in Coors, I'm all about it. Start of the night, we're going to go back to Jordan. It feels like more often than not, home run call is going to be a star of the night. I know you had Ohtani as your star of the night and Walker as your home run call. That works too. My contrarian stack, though, I'm going to go with the Washington Nationals here. We talked about Nationals against right-handed pitching the other day against Zach Wheeler when Wheeler was over 20% rostered, and they hammered him. It wasn't right out of the gate, right away. So Washington just came out and started just smoking Zach Wheeler here. Over the last 2 weeks, again, sample size, take it for what you want. 5th in WOBA, 817 OPS, a 197 ISO, just a 15% strikeout rate. Going up against Zach Davies here, who doesn't strike anybody out. Now, the interesting thing on Zach Davies is his splits. Against righties, they are not really touching him. 188 batting average against right-handed hitters this year. Lefties are smoking him, though. 375, 475 slug, 919 OPS. And you look at the lineup there for the Nationals, and they have some guys on the left side of the plate. Lane Thomas, Corey Dickerson is back, Luis Garcia, CJ Abrams, Kyber Ruiz, Dominic Smith. Like, they can throw out almost a whole lineup of lefties there. So I am big here on the Nationals again against right-handed pitching, especially since they just beat up a good right-handed pitcher, and now they're facing a terrible right-handed pitcher that's also a terrible human being. I won't go into the long story of that, but you can go Google the Zach Davey wife story. It's terrible what happened there. So I hope the Nationals just smack him around and nobody's going to play them again. We had Washington, or I had Washington at least the other night, 1% under in my lineup there against Zach Wheeler. So give me Washington as my contrarian stack of the night here. All right, James, let's finish the show off. Let's build a lineup together, man. I believe we were both kind of in lockstep with Corbin Burns.
Yep. Yep. I got something brewing.
All right. Why don't you run it down for me then?
All right. So I went Jaime Barria. I hope you don't mind as my SP2. Gabriel Moreno, 2,900 gets a lefty, and Patrick Corbin. Lamonte Wade, 3,900, having a monster night on Tuesday. I don't have a second baseman, but we'll get to it. Third base, Evan Longoria gets a lefty. All the power lately for Longoria, $2,800.
I kept scrolling. I think, where is Evan Longoria on this street? Yeah.
Ellie De La Awesome, 2,700. Also, no one staked any claim to that on Twitter, so you must get into that
T-shirts
now.
Made and everything.
Jordan Alvarez, $5,900 in the outfield. I got Conforto, 43, and then we have 5,150 for second base. Probably Estrada, 5,000, and that gives us 53 for whoever we want. JD Martinez.
JD Martinez. I like JD Martinez. That's fine.
He was both in our top plays, right?
Yeah. All right, I like that lineup then. We got Corbin Burns, Jaime Barria, Gabriel Moreno, Lamonte Wade, Thairo Estrada, Evan Longoria, Ellie De La Awesome, Jordan Alvarez, Michael Conforto, JD Martinez there. Again, we'll be back live at 5 o'clock Eastern. Like and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Leave your comments in the comment section. Get us in Discord. Let us know what you think of the current format. We want your advice. We want to make this the best show possible for all of you out there. James and I